Hi everyone! Today I wanted to answer a frequently asked question, which is actually what are my favorite books to read? I am a former librarian and I have a master's degree in library science, and so obviously I read a lot. So I'm going to do two sections, fiction and nonfiction. So in terms of nonfiction authors, I'm a big fan of economics and history. So some of my favorite authors are Jared Diamond. He wrote Guns, Germs, and Steel and Collapse. I also really like Tony Horowitz, who's a travel journalist. He's most famous for writing Confederates in the Attic. In terms of fiction, I love so many different kinds of fiction. So my all-time favorite fiction author is Christopher Moore. He wrote Lamb, the Gospel According to Biff, Christ's childhood pal. And he's been one of my favorite authors for probably 15 years. I read all of his books and they are all hilarious. And in the sci-fi fantasy realm, I also read a lot of stuff. I can't leave out Neil Gaiman, who's awesome, and even his newest series, which is a young adult series, was great. I also really like James Clemens. He wrote a 5-book series called the Witch War series that's about like a young girl who discovers that she's, of course, like the chosen one. She has all these powers that she has to control, and she has a party, but it's a fantastically written series and I love it. I've also read some like the Weather Warden series. I don't remember who wrote those books, but I enjoyed them. I can't leave out the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter books, even though they got like really porny around like book 11. But before that, they were like so good fantasy sci-fi. Urban science fiction and fantasy is also another one of my favorites. If you have like wizards walking around in the modern world, I totally dig that. I enjoyed the Dresden Files, but I have to say that Jim Butcher cannot write women to save his fucking life. Like, all of his female characters are totally like virgin or whore. Like, he always has this problem. They're either perfect or they're like complete fucking horrible evil ladies. So I really wish he was a little bit more balanced. Some of my favorite female authors include Gail Carriger. She wrote like these steampunk series called The Parasol Protectorate. And who else? Marion Zimmer Bradley, who's dead, but you know, a shout out. I read every single one of the Darkover books, and there are like 47 of them. So yeah, that's a lot of my favorite books and authors, but I could keep going. Oh my gosh, Mary Brown, she had a 5-book series called The Lonely Ones. That was another one of my personal favorites. So good. So if you want to see the entire Mistress Harley reading list, you can check me out on Goodreads. I do update that sometimes. I am also always looking for book recommendations. So if you liked any of the stuff that I just talked about, feel free to leave a recommendation in the comments and I'll probably read it.